So in this video, I'm gonna discuss to you what is all about in chapter 3, network protocols and communications. So first is timing. There's a rules of engagement for message timing. First is access method. Access method determines when someone is able to send a message. If two people talk at the same time, a collision of information occurs and it's necessary for the two to back off and start again. Likewise, it is necessary for computers defines an access method. Hosts on a network need an access method to know when to begin sending message and how to respond when a collision occurs. Flow control. Timing is also affects how much information can be sent and speed that it can be delivered. If one person speaks too quickly, it is difficult for the person to hear and understand the message. In a network communication, source and destination or host use flow control method to negotiate correct timing for successful communication. Response timeout. If a person asks a question and does not hear a response within an acceptable amount of time, the person assumes that no answers is coming and reacts accordingly. The person may repeat the question or may go with the conversations. Hosts on the network also have rules that specify how long to wait for a response and what action is to take response timeouts occur. Protocol interactions. Communication between a web service and web client is an example of interaction between several protocols. The protocols shown in the figure include HTTP is an applications protocols that governs the way a web server and web client interact. HTTP, the content formatting of the requests and responses that are exchanged between the client server. Both the clients and the web server software implement HTTP as a part of application. HTTP relies on the protocols to govern how the messages are transmitted between the client and server. TCP is a transport protocol that manages the individual conversation. TCP and HTTP applications HTTP message into smaller pieces called segments. These segments are sent between the web server and the client process running the destination host. TCP is also responsible for controlling the size and rate at which messages are exchanged between the servers and the client. IP is responsible for taking the format segments from TCP, encapsulating them into packets, assigning them the appropriate address and delivering them to the destination host. Ethernet is a network access protocol that describes two primary functions: communication over the data link, physical transmissions of data in the network media. Network access. Network access protocols are responsible for taking the packets from IP and formatting them into transmitted over the media. Internet standards. First, internet standard is Internet Society or ISOC, responsible for promoting the open development and evolution of internet use throughout the world. Internet Architecture Board or IAB, responsible for the overall management and development of internet standards. Internet Engineering Task Force or IETF develop updates and maintains Internet's TCP/IP technologies. This includes the process and documents for developing new protocols and updating existing protocols known as requests for comments as FC documents. Internet Research Task Force or IRTF focus on long-term research related to Internet and TCP/IP protocols such as anti-spam research (ASRG), Cryptoforum Research Group (CFRG), and Peer-to-Peer Research Group or P2PRG. So the next is Internet Corporations for Assigned Names and Numbers or ICANN. Based on the United States coordinate IP address allocations, the management of domain names and assignment of their informations use TCP/IP controls protocols. Internet Assigned Numbers Authority IANA, responsible for overseeing and managing IP address allocations, domain name management, and protocol identifiers for ICANN. Electronics and Communication Standard Organizations. First is Institute of Electricals and Electronic Engineering or IEEE, pronounced IEEE. Organization of Electrical Engineering and Electronic dedicated to advancing technological innovations and creating standards in a wide area of industries, including power and energy, healthcare, telecommunications, and network. Electronic Industry Alliance or EIA, best known for its standards related electrical wiring connections and 19-inch racks used to mount networking equipment. Telecommunication Industry Association or TIA, responsible for developing communications standards in a variety of areas, including radio equipment, cellular towers, voice over IP, satellites communication, and more. International Telecommunication Union telecommunication standard sectors, one of the larger and oldest communication standard organizations. The ITU-T defines standards for video compressions, internet protocols, televisions, and broadband communications such as this digital subscriber line or DSL. So in this chapter 3, network protocols and communication. Data networks are systems and devices, intermediary device, and the media connecting them. From communication to occur, these devices must know how to communicate. This device must comply with communication rules and protocols. TCP and IP is an example of protocol suite. Most protocols are created by standards organizations such as the IETF, IEE. The Institute of Electrical Electronics Engineers is professionals organization for those in the electrical engineering and electronic fields. ISO, the International Organization for Standardizations, is the world's largest developer of international standards for a wide variety of products and services. The most widely used network models are TiOS and TCP/IP models, associating the protocols that set the rules of data communications with a different layer of these models is useful in determining which device and services are applied at specific points as data passes across LANs and WANs. Data that passes down the stack of the OSI model segments into pieces and encapsulated with addresses and other labels. The process is reversed as the piece of encapsulated and passed up to destinations. Protocol stack. The OSI model describes the processes of encoding, formatting, segmenting, encapsulating the data transmission over the network. The TCP protocol suite is an open standard protocol that has been endorsed by network industry and ratified or approved by standard organization. The Internet Protocol is a suite of protocols required for transmitting and receiving information using the Internet. So in this chapter 3, it's all about sending a message about communication. They use like a real life scenario that can as me like me those examples of like real life like people's like unicast, it can be easily understand understand and understand to 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 how the PC are connected on how to pass the messages through the computers. And there's a applications presentations that will show in these uh, chapters. And that is all about in chapter 3, and that's all. Thank you.